Welcome to Widener's Weather Wagers with Sam. What's the good word?
The good word is I came back to earth this week. I took a loss after two undefeated weeks.
Yeah,
But
we were
thankfully you got back on the right track. Even Steven.
we were getting worried about you winning
Yeah,
this
you
much.
can't win too much.
Yeah,
You don't want to get used to it.
no, can't do that. So, yeah, we won in 1 week and the had a couple games there that were affected a little bit by the weather, and we had the Kansas City Jacksonville. They were calling for rain, snow, kind of light, not really pleasant conditions. And I don't know, from the get go, I thought that line was a little high, even regardless of the weather. And it didn't end up actually being that bad. I think there was a little light rain a little bit at times throughout the game. The pretty much dry slot came in and didn't really do too much, but the game pretty much went as planned. It was a little bit of a quick start, but then I had the Mahomes injury, and then after that, it slowed down a bit, and we got the W there. So
It balances
we'll take
out
it.
the awful Cowboys. I don't know. I should know better. McCarthy and Dak should not.
Yeah,
I mean, they had their chances to get 3 touchdowns. They got
that
one
was
offensive. They started a drive on like the 10, and then they had a Dak. The killer was that Dak pick going in to like take control of the game, get a second
yeah,
touchdown in the first half, which would have put
yeah,
us in a real good spot, put the Niners in a tough spot, and he throws that pick, and that just put it all away right there. I was shocked too that they kicked field goals. I know he made field goals, but after that first kick of the day, oh my God, if that wasn't blocked, it would have missed by about 15 feet to the left.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if they knew, I don't even know why the guy's lining up to block it there, but
yeah, right.
it was not close. That hurt too that they, weren't just, I thought they might just play for touchdowns. So yeah, take an L, well-deserved L there, but whatever, we move on, as did my birds.
Yep.
Very nice, sweat-free victory. No, I did not give them out as a pick on here. I did love them in the spot, but I don't like to, make them picks or put like a normal size play on it. I did have a couple prop plays on them that got me a little tingly. I actually had the Eagles minus 30.5
Wow.
on FanDuel in a prop tied with Dallas Goedert touchdown and defensive touchdown. It was like 185 to 1.
Wow.
But I thought the Eagles would win by a ton. I liked Goddard to score, and I thought maybe the D would get a score if they did win by a ton. Of
Yeah.
course, the D did not score. There was a ball on the field, I think, late in the game that I was kind of hoping they would scoop and score, but it was worth a shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, but hey, I'm just happy my birds are moving on. Let's talk about that game this week. We got Eagles, Niners, and Philly. Eagles minus 2.5. I think this is a game where they're trying to get. It's my team. It's what worries me, but I do feel good about the Eagles again. Not as much as I did against the Giants, but I like them again. If I knew what the defensive game plan is, I'd feel a lot better. I'm just worried they'll sit back and let Purdy get comfortable, and because that's what they've done a lot of games. So they had a game where Dak was like 24 for 24 against their zone.
Yeah.
Put some pressure on this kid, light him up, and let's go to
to.
the Super Bowl.
They need to get pressure on him and just make him a little nervous back there, I think. And I don't know. I just can't. I just don't think he can keep going like this. And it wasn't always pretty against Dallas.
It wasn't always Purdy.
Wasn't always pretty. A 19-12 win. I mean, I think the Eagles.
They dropped 2 picks.
Yeah. I think if they can put a little pressure on him, I think it could be. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like the last game, but I think it could be a 2-touchdown win.
I like it. Yeah, I'm not making it a pick, not jinxing them. I will have a pick. We'll get to that in a second. I'll have a play on the game, but yeah. So I'll just put up our graphic here. We talked about it a moment ago, but if you see here,
Sure
Mike's 24-9 on the year. back on track there. Sam drops to 14-8, and our overall record is still a robust 38-17. I wouldn't mind the Eagles putting up a 38-17 victory.
Yeah, it looks like a good score there.
Yeah, that's dominant. That's what we like to see. But yeah, let's if you want to talk a little bit about the AFC game, just a tough situation for betting purposes.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really know how Mahomes is going to handle the injury. High ankle sprains typically, like we were talking, generally out for at least 6 weeks, sometimes more. I mean, I heard he said at practice it was okay. So it's really hard to say. I mean, I think his mobility is going to be severely affected. The weather, it's going to be cold there. I don't think that will help his ankle. The temperature, I think, is probably going to be around 20, maybe low 20s at game time, 10-mile-per-hour wind.
It's his right ankle?
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, the only good thing is it's like he's not like a wide receiver running back where he's cutting hard. And if it, it's his right, his left is the one that he would plant in the ground and maybe put more pressure on. But I mean, if he's a sitting duck in the pocket, that makes it a lot easier. And if he can't, he makes a lot of great ad-lib plays out of the pocket. I was going to have an official play. If Chad Henne was in at quarterback and the line went nuts, I was taking the Chiefs. Chad Henne from our hometown. He's a Berks County, Reading native. He went to Wilson. I don't like him because he beat Penn State when he was at Michigan and cost them a perfect season. But every time he comes in the playoffs, it's like he's ready to go.
It's amazing.
He's saved them twice in the playoffs. I'm not saying he's played out of this world, but like for a guy to come off the bench cold in the playoffs, it really hasn't played much. 98-yard drive, the longest in team history. I heard people saying, "Oh man, if Mahomes is out, Bengals -7.5," and I was like, for me, I think Andy Reid would find a game plan around Henne, and they'd find a way to keep it close. But it looks like Mahomes is going to play. The line keeps bouncing back and forth based on. You hear one bit of news, then it changes, and then you see today there was a video that came out showing him doing stretches at practice. Now the Chiefs are favored again.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard for me to risk anything on something like that. Weather-wise, again, it's going to be cold. There's going to be a little wind, but just the unknown factor about everything there, I'm not going to make any plays on it. I mean, if someone force me to make a play, I'm probably going to lean towards the under just because it's really cold and some wind there. I mean, wind chill is probably going to be 10 to 15, but it's not anything that I would go crazy on and post ahead of time. So
if you would, remember, follow @undermike626 on Twitter. That's where sometimes release plays. Subscribe to this YouTube channel that you're watching on Weiners Weather Wagers. That way you get all the updated videos as well. I have one play, and it's a prop. And it's a prop that I feel like hits a fair amount of times for the Eagles, a team I know pretty well. Dallas Goedert over 44.5 receiving yards. I know just on the surface, if you look at it, some people are like, oh, they defend the tight end pretty well, numbers-wise, the Niners. And they do, numbers-wise. Warner is very saw last week, he went out. Now, I still think it should have been a touchdown. He got stuck with CeeDee Lamb in coverage, and it was the one where I thought Dak underthrew it. It turns out not only did he underthrow that, he had T.Y. Hilton wide open on the play. But Goddard to me is just he's not respected, I don't think, as much as like some of the other top tier tight ends. I'm not saying he's Travis Kelce or anything, but if you look at what the Niners have done against like top tight ends, so they were against the Chiefs earlier this year. I was taking a look at this, and Kelce went 6 for 98, and the two other tight ends on the Chiefs went 2 for 18. So they certainly put up numbers. And then I was looking at another elite tight end, and Darren Waller had 3 for 72 against the Niners, and his teammate, the second stringer, had 3 for 55. So I think when they face teams that have a talented tight end option, no, they're just like anybody else. So I really kind of like this 44.5 for Dallas Goedert, based on what they've given up against some of the other good tight ends in the league. Goddard last week, I believe, easily had it, even though I believe he missed on one opportunity. Let's see. He was 58 last week, 5 for 58. The week before against the Giants, when they weren't even trying, he was 7 for 46. Against the Saints, 6 for 45. Dallas, 3 for 67. The last time he didn't hit it was Washington. They went 3 for 23. He went 3 for 23. Against Houston, 9 for 100. Pittsburgh, 6 for 64. So he hits this number a lot.
Yeah.
I know that the Niners D is really good, but Goddard's a heck of a tight end. So that's going to be my play, and I'll officially put it in here on the old banner.
What side are you looking at there?
Over 44.5 yards. And that's going to be – it's FanDuel.
Okay.
So – and we're going to put that up there right now.
There we are.
Now, remember, there were 38 and 17. Now, we actually were dead even last week because my play was plus money. So we didn't lose even the juice last week. So, if you're betting $1,000 on each of our plays, you broke even. You didn't even lose the 100. So like I said, our record at 38 and 17, 21 games over 500, even factoring in, the juice, you're almost 20 units to the good. So hopefully we get this the sweep this week. It's not even a dustpan. It would only be a 1-0 unless Mike adds something. So that's I don't even know what to call that. That might be just like a paper towel wipe off of the counter,
Yeah, just clean up some milk or something that spilled. I don't know.
But hey, a win's a win's a win. So we would take it. And then maybe Super Bowl. We'll probably have a pick, but we might do a bunch of fun props too, just because it's a Super Bowl.
Yeah, there's not going to be any unders. So it's been a good season. I mean, it's been a great season of what we posted here. My job's pretty much done in the unders department.
Why, you're saying that there couldn't be some sort of event in Arizona, and they could remove the dome part and
yeah, it's like, there is a rain and windstorm coming. Just been contacted by Under Mike to have this open setting for the game.
I mean, maybe there's a change in the barometric pressure and the air is more conducive to longer kicks. I don't know. But we'll have something out there. Yeah, you've been sterling. It'll be fun to maybe take a look, like I said, at the XFL and USFL weather.
Yeah.
And then we'll have an entire season next year of all the weather plays, and I expect a lot of fun. So we'll still do another video. We'll recap this week, and we'll have a Super Bowl one, and then we'll probably just do it as we see USFL or XFL plays that you like. And obviously, like I said, follow him on Twitter, because you'll probably just as soon as you see it, put it out there in case the line moves, because those small games like that, the line can move real easily with a couple bets. So it'll be big to get in early on it.
That's where it's at. So yeah, absolutely. So it's been fun, and like Sam said, we'll be back again to recap this, and that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Yep. Go Birds.
All right. See you later.
Yeah, later.